just a thought. It's my opinion. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. Get out your feelings. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. It's my opinion. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. Get out your feelings.
What's going on, everybody? It's your girl, Sharí Nycole. Welcome to another episode of Just a Thought with Sharí Nycole. I'm also thankful to my guest for today, Miss E, better known as Evelyn Braxton. She's a television personality. She is the mother of the Braxton women and the Braxton man. People sometimes forget that she does have a son. His name is Mikey, but she is someone who I have always just adored. Anytime I've been around her, it's always been a pleasure. And she is a life coach. She is a minister. She is a television personality, as I just mentioned. And she's also an author of a new amazing cookbook. She's got some great things coming up very soon. And I wanted to make sure that you guys were tuned in with that. So we talked about that, motherhood, so much more, and also the loss of her dear daughter, Tracy Braxton. So you guys want to nestle in, listen in, tap in, possibly take some notes because you know she dropped some gems. Without further ado, my conversation with the one and only Miss Evelyn Braxton. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Just a Thought with Sharí Nycole. And I am here with one of my favorite people. Anytime I'm around you, I just feel like my mother is sitting across from me.
Thank you.
Miss Evelyn Braxton, affectionately known as Miss E. I just adore you. Thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, let's talk about the outfit.
Okay.
Because you're turning up.
Okay.
Describe your personal style and how do you choose what you're going to wear from day to day?
Well, I just look in my closet and see how I feel. If I feel sexy, I'll get on the little sexy side or what have you. Or just relax, I'll get on the relaxed side. So today, I know you were coming and I know you're sexy. You got it like that. I have to keep up, for God's sake. Don't get it twisted because I'm older.
Well, let's stay on that topic for a moment because we were talking before the cameras were rolling. Me and Miss E were trying to figure out this dating world that we're trying to navigate. You had a birthday recently. We're both out here still in search of our Boaz, our husband.
Yeah.
Miss E, what do you think is the problem out here? What is going on with this dating pool, so to speak?
You know, I really don't know. I don't understand why they would overlook me, for God's sake.
You think they're overlooking you?
Absolutely. Maybe I'm just too much for them. I don't know.
You could be. So let me ask you, are men are they sliding in your DMs trying to talk to you? Are they asking you out on dates?
No one's asking me anywhere, for God's sake. I'm like, what? Thank God I got a good self-esteem about me.
So your daughters haven't tried to hook you up with anybody recently?
They did, but I don't trust them.
Why not?
Well, you know, because the last time Tawana had me with a 27-year-old, a child, for God's sake, I don't do that.
Okay. So for those who think that maybe your father or your uncle is worthy of dating Miss E.
Yes.
He can't be a teenager.
He cannot, for God's sake. He already have to be settled, matured, already knowing who he is, for God's sake.
That's
I don't
fair.
have time.
I understand that, Miss E. And one of the things that I always think about, it's a word that I think about when I think about you, is it's virtue. And I feel like to a degree, it's a little bit lost on this generation. Not to say there aren't virtuous women out there, but I think there's an air of virtue and poise that you carry that I think we're kind of missing. What say you to that? What is the importance of women still understanding the power of their virtue?
I think sometimes women forget who they are. The most important thing is knowing who you are. You know, I am a woman of God, but that doesn't mean that I don't love life.
Yeah.
It just means that there's certain things that I'm just not going to do. You know, I'm not going to lower my standards. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to have my breasts out. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put my booty out, although I am of age. But I'm saying. I think you have to know who you are. And sometimes knowing who you are, people may feel a little intimidated.
At what point in your life can you say, like with certainty, I discovered or I knew who I was? Was there a point in your life where you can say, I discovered and started walking in the power of who I was?
Oh, it's been so many years ago, I don't know how not to. You know, from the time I was married, I knew, okay, who I was and that type of thing. Even through my divorce, I knew. And so when you know who you are, it's not hard. You just get up in the morning knowing.
Yeah, yeah. One of the things I was talking to your assistant, Miss Shalee, about before we started talking, when I was like, Miss E has this beautiful ability to have cross-generational impact. So just as much as people your age listen to what you have to say, so do millennials, so do Gen Zers. Like, how does that feel for you to be able to have a voice that's cross-generational?
I feel so honored. I feel so honored and highly blessed of God. I think it's a calling.
Yeah.
I really think it's a calling. I don't know why God anointed me to, and it's an anointing.
Yeah.
I don't know why God anointed me to do that or to have that, but I'm grateful for God's sakes.
Yeah, yeah. I watched a recent interview you were doing with Ricky Smiley speaking about a calling, and you just have this way of creating these ministerial moments out of just conversations that you're having with people. I think it's great. My grandmother used to do it all the time. I don't even think it's intentional. I just think that as you flow, that's what happens as you're talking to people. But how important has it been for you to protect that gift, that calling, and understand, like, okay, I'm in a space where I can share in this way, or I'm around a person that can be receptive of what I have to say?
You know, I don't try to protect it. It is. It just is. Like I said, I wake up in the morning knowing who I am. If someone called me for prayer or called me for advice, it's as though God just put the words on my tongue.
Yeah.
And they roll up. I don't know what I'm going to say. They just come. It just come. And so it's not protected. It is just an anointing.
Yeah. Is there something that you're saying now, or a way you're saying it, in light of the grief that you've experienced recently, and even in past other things in your life, that you weren't necessarily saying before? Is there a special message that God really has put you on assignment to share in this season of your life?
I think so. I think God prepares you for what is going to happen, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
But He prepares you. And in preparing you, He gives you words to say. Now, I've never lost a child before. I think that's what you're alluding to. But however, since I've lost a child, and maybe you haven't, I have the words to say as though they are just there, that God will take you through, you know. And even with Tracy, people say, well, how can you pray and ask God to take Tracy? I didn't want to see Tracy suffering anymore. And I knew she was a child of God, and I knew she loved God. I just wanted her to be in the bosom of God.
Yeah.
And enjoy. How can you enjoy death? I think you can, for God's sake, especially if you are in the Lord, and enjoy the transitioning of where God is taking you.
Yeah.
That's what I think. And the moments that Tracy and I had shared, I wouldn't trade that at all, because with each of your children, there's boundaries, there's relationships, and what have you. Say, well, which one did you love more? How can you love any one of them any more than the other, for God's sake? There's personalities about them that you love, and who they are, you love that. But you can't say, oh, I love this one more, I love that one more, you know. For even that question, it's not a good question, because you can't. I could. You just can't. So Tracy's personality, I miss that. Tracy's smile, I miss that. Her laughter, I miss that. Her jokes, I miss that. I miss so many. Her cooking, because she had a way of cooking differently from the girl. I miss that. Her way of singing.
Yeah.
You know, I miss that. I miss all of that.
Yeah.
You know, and there's days when I really don't have it together. You know, everybody says, "Oh, Miss E always have it together." No, I don't. I'm human first, people. Yeah. I have feelings. You know, I have pain. I have disillusion, just like anybody else. I'm not this super woman. You know that song? I'm not too super.
Yeah, Karen White.
See? That's what I'm saying. You know, I have all of those things, disillusion. And sometimes I even question God.
Yeah.
How do you question God? Yes, I do. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, because he's my father.
Yeah.
And I said, my God, where are you? For God's sakes, where are you? I do. Mm-hmm. And then I have to come to myself and say, you're here all the time. Mm-hmm. After I shed a few tears and what have you. Yeah.
How do you give yourself grace in those moments or on those days or on those mornings you wake up and you don't have it together?
I have to get the grace from God. I have to get the strength from God. I have to get the power from God, because when I wake up in the morning and I don't have that, I don't have the grace. I don't have the power. I don't have the strength. I don't have any of those things. So I have to bring it in from the grace and the strength and the power. Just God himself. And I can feel it. Believe it or not, I don't care if you never believe it. I can feel it. You know, I can feel it when it just overshowers me. And I'm like, okay, now I'm ready. I'm ready to face the day. Because someday I'm not ready to face today, guys. I'm just not ready. I tell Michelle A, Michelle A, today I'm just not ready. She said, you'll pull it in a minute, Miss E. You know you. I said, thank you. So,
speaking of pulling it in, it's I can imagine the pressures of having to live in the public eye, to grieve in the public eye, to be a mother in the public eye. How do you kind of toe that line or balance that? Like, you're still very much grieving the loss of Tracy, and at the same time, you still have to be a mother and a supporter to your other daughters. You still have to be a leader and a minister. There's so many other people that need and desire the anointing that you carry and the heart you have for people. So how do you work through that?
Well, because no one is exempt. No one. I don't care who you come from. What your name may be, education, money, or no money. Even Jesus had to go and pray for strength. And if he had to go and pay for strength, the servant is not greater than his Lord, then so do I. Even Jesus had to say, my God, you know, in essence, where are you, for God's sake? Why have you forsaken me, for God's sakes? Absolutely. So is the servant greater than his Lord? No. If he had to do it, I do too. The world does not care what you're going through with. Trust me, they don't care. Because they're dealing with their own situation. They're dealing with their own problems. Everybody deals with their problems, their situation, in their own way. And that's their right to deal with it. They're not, and when you transition, the world does not stop. How about that? The world constantly go around and around and around and around and around. Life goes on. You still have to go to, although it may have happened to me, you still have to go to work. You still have to make a living. You still have to pay the bills. By me not doing that, that doesn't stop your life.
Yeah.
So in essence, they may be sympathetic, but the world doesn't care. It can't stop. Because if that's then the case, how can we continue? We won't be able to, baby. We won't be able to. So we can't. Not really.
One of the things I've seen you continue through that I think is so admirable is the type of mother you are. And I'm not a parent yet. I desire to be one day. But I'm in awe of parents who are able to transition from their children being children to being adults. I think you have just walked that journey so beautifully.
Oh, thank you so much.
What has been the biggest kind of tool that you've used to mother your daughters and your son as children, but then allow them the space to evolve and to grow into the adults that they've become? Because I could imagine that might be kind of tough sometimes.
I had to learn that. I had to learn to let go. You know, it did not come overnight. I know people say, well, you know, no. When you hold too tight,
Yeah.
you can't get anything in there.
Yeah.
You know, they can't go into green pastures, in and out green pastures when your hands are tight. But when it's open, they can come in and they can go out. You may not like it.
Yeah.
You may not like the decision either.
Yeah.
You know, but you have to. You have to. If you want to keep your kids, you got to open your hand. You have to let go.
Yeah. What does correction look like, child versus adult? Like mothering a child versus mothering as an adult. What does correction look like?
I had to learn that. I had to learn that. I had to realize these people are 3 times 7 plus change. You know, what I haven't done from the time they were kids until now, they won't get. Because a lot of things they have to learn on their own. They have to experience life on their own. My experiences, it may help them. This is what I've learned through the years. Everybody says, my kids doesn't listen. They do what they want to do. An adult. Well, they're not supposed to listen.
Uh-oh.
They're not supposed to listen. If they listen to everything you say, how can they learn? How can they develop? They're supposed to fall. Sometimes they're supposed to roll. That's the only way they can develop into who they need to be. Your experiences are fine now, and it's good. But that was yours.
Yeah.
They can pull somewhat from that, but they have to pull from theirs and be the person that they can be and they're supposed to be. Because we're not clones, for God's sakes. We're supposed to fall. You're supposed to not think like your mother, because you're not your mother. They're supposed to not think like me, because they're not me. They're supposed to maybe choose a different type of man than me, because my needs are different. Or a different type of woman, whomever, because your needs are different. We ought to not have the same needs. So I say this, just leave them alone, for God's sake. They'll come home with their tail wagging behind them. Leave them alone. They'll be okay. They're not supposed to listen to everything that you say. They're not supposed to. Step back. But I had to learn that also. Most parents do.
Yeah. I love that. Well, one thing they did listen to you on is the cooking. I'm sorry. I got to just say, Miss E, because y'all throw down, okay?
Thank you so much.
Y'all throw down. You have this phenomenal cookbook.
Thank you.
You have a cooking virtual series that's going to be rolling out. Miss E.
Yeah.
First of all, I thought I was going to have some food here when I got here.
Oh, Lord.
I thought I was going to get some biscuits. I at least thought I was going to get a couple of biscuits. But it's okay.
Oh, next time.
Next time, we're going to plan it out.
Yeah, that way I'll bring you back.
Yes, but I want to talk about this cookbook, first of all, because I know that putting a cookbook together, first of all, is not an easy thing to do at all. So what was this process like for you?
10 years.
Woo! Did you ever want to quit and say, you know what, this is too much, I'm done?
I did, but I couldn't give up because it's about my mom and my parents.
Yeah.
You know, she was such a phenomenal woman. I don't want anyone to forget her. I don't want to forget her. I don't want the family to forget this phenomenal woman. I'm trying to tell you, if I was half the woman that my mom was, I would consider myself a success. She was just that awesome.
You don't consider yourself a success?
Well, I think about my mom.
And that's your marker.
That's my marker. I always want them to be proud of me, my mom and my dad. And when I get into an adventure or what have you, I will say, okay, Mom, okay, Dad, what do you think? I just want them happy. I just want them pleased because they sacrificed so much for me.
Yeah.
They sent me away to get a better education when I was 13 years old. Can you imagine? To make that type of sacrifice? Because they were in the South. And so that's what they did.
Wow.
Sent me to Maryland so I can get a better education, so I can have a better life,
Yeah.
And I told them, I'm going to make you proud of me. I have to keep that promise.
I think you're keeping it.
Thank you.
How has that experience shaped you, though? I mean, I can't imagine my parents saying, all right, we're going to send you up north because you're 13-year-old black girl.
Cute too, but go ahead.
How did that experience, how does part of that experience anchor the woman that you are today and how you move through business and how great of a mom you are and all those different types of things?
Well, I use them as an example. That's my mark. But at 13 in the South, you didn't have a say, baby. You had to do whatever they say do. And I noticed the kids nowadays, they always have a question. Why I have to do that? I don't want to do that. No, I go to my room. Then they go to their room and stay in the room all day. Clean your room. I don't have to clean my room. You didn't do that. All I know, my aunt came in town. Next day, my suitcase was packed.
Wow.
By the door. And my dad said, Evelyn, you're going to Maryland with your aunt so you can go to school and get a better education. I didn't say, I don't want to go. But why? Why I have to go? Why my other siblings can't go? You know what I said? Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Yes, sir. 12 hours on that road. In the car, in the back seat of the car, driving. I wasn't driving, my cousin Robert was driving. I remember everything. I remember all the details. And so and my sister told me, Mom cried every day. Can you imagine? Mom cried every day, Evelyn, every day. She's in the kitchen cooking, she's wiping her eyes. That's what my sister Vern said. Can you imagine?
No.
All that pain because she gave up her child for the betterment of her, and I can't do great things for them, in their namesake, for me and my kids too. Don't misunderstand. Had it not been for my parents, my kids wouldn't be where they are today. Think about it. Look at the sacrifice for generation to generation. Look at their children. Howard and this one and that one and Denham is a model and Eric and Caleb and look. And I won't complain because look what they did for their children and their children's children. I used to hear my mom and dad pray for their children and their children's children. I do that. For my children and my children's children.
Yeah.
And I taught them to do the same thing. So what am I going to complain about? Absolutely nothing. Look at my child, Tony. Look at Tawanda. Look at Trina. Look at Michael. Look at Tamar. Look at Tracy and their children. What? What do I have to complain about? Not one blessed thing. And if I do, shut up. So it is what it is. I may have married young, had my kids, but everything is done in God's own divine order.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade. I wouldn't trade that.
I wouldn't trade it either. I also wouldn't trade these recipes.
No, I wouldn't trade those recipes.
You got notes in here.
Well-
so what do they write down? I burned my chicken today. I'm gonna do better tomorrow. Is that for the note section?
That's for the note section. But in that book, there's a story behind each of the recipes.
Wow.
There's a story. Yeah. Yeah. And my biscuits, that's my mom's recipe.
Let me tell y'all something about these. First of all, let me put this right back in. Let me tell y'all something about these biscuits. God is in them, okay? They got angel dust sprinkled on the inside of them. Some of the best biscuits I ever had.
Oh, thank you so much.
Some of the best biscuits I have ever had. And for those, let me ask you this, Miss E, because we're in a generation now where a lot of people going down to the fast food. They're going to get the fast food, or they're getting Uber Eats. A lot of us women kind of struggle with being culinary. What say you to how this book can kind of help those who may not be able to help them, may not be helping themselves right now with actually going in the kitchen and cooking anything?
Yeah, it's a bar. You know, they can kind of follow. It's a help me at the help me. You can follow.
Yeah.
But I say this: it may be my recipe, but make it yours.
Okay.
Make it yours. Follow it, but make it yours. Put extra stuff in it. Put special things in it. Take your mind back to your family. What did they put in theirs? So you don't have to follow it completely until you lose yourself, and that's the only way you can cook. Don't do that. Use it as a bar.
Come on, as
Keep
a bar.
moving.
That's what I'm gonna use it as, Miss E, because I'm gonna tell you I need a little work.
Yeah.
I'm good with breakfast food though, but you start going into dinner time and it gets a little strange for me.
Yeah, but it's simple. It's just as simple as the nose on your face, like the big burger. You know how to make a burger.
I do.
Go in there, get that big burger, girl, put all the ingredients in there, put that in the skillet, brown that boy on both sides. You can either make a big burger or you can make Salisbury steak. You know, you put a little, take your meat out, put a little Salisbury steak, put a little flour in there, cut little onions up in there, okay? Put, chicken broth in that boy. But you got to brown it a little bit.
Okay,
like
okay,
a roux. Make a roux.
Okay.
Put that boy in there, stir it, put the seasoning, type of seasoning you like. Put your Salisbury steak back into that sauce. Throw a little bit of rice on.
You Gucci. You got everything you're supposed to have.
You got everything you're supposed to have.
Okay, I'm gonna try the big burger first.
Try the big burger
And
first.
then we'll go from there.
Or if you don't want the gravy, just take the burger after you fry. Put it in a piece of bread and look at God.
You done.
Look at God. It's all done. You can have a meal, make a meal with that gravy and stuff. If you have spinach, go to the store, get some spinach, pack of spinach, throw that boy. I said the boy. That's what I tell my kids. Throw the boy on.
Okay, I'm gonna try that one first, Miss
Yeah,
E.
please.
I'm gonna let you know how the big burger goes
Please.
for me. I like the fact that you're giving people options. They can be creative.
Yeah,
and
very
make it their own.
creative.
I
Just
like
make
that.
it yours, for
like
God's
that.
sake.
Well, what's yours is this virtual
Yeah.
cooking special that's coming up. I'm excited. I'm gonna be tapped and tuned in.
Absolutely. On the 20th of October, I'm going to be virtual, so you better come on, buy the ticket, and you can't miss, you can't lose.
So I don't want you to, I know you might not want to give everything away, but what can people expect? Are they going to be able to ask you questions live, or you have some select recipes you want to show, or you're just talking through things? How's the layout of the special?
Well, I'm going to keep everything as a surprise.
Okay.
So when you join me virtually, you can just ask me what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and it's a surprise if I tell you now. You know what people used to say, if I tell you, I would have to kill you.
Miss E, now I'm over here like, man, you're not gonna tell me anything.
I can't. You know what they say, right?
Who can I talk to? Because you're not the one. Because you don't want to tell me anything.
Well, I'll tell you who you can also talk to. You can also talk to Ken. That's your frat brother.
Yes, he is.
knows
Shout out
what's
to
going
Ken.
on,
What's
you
up,
know?
Brad? He knows everything.
See, I can't share whatever you call it, but so much. Because he like, Miss E. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, so you want a ticket, get that ticket. He have everything set up at the event, bright. It's incredible. You're going to love it. My people are going to love it. My followers are going to love it. You're going to learn how to cook and so on and so forth. And then I will reveal a lot of things the 20th of October.
I love it. Any special guests? I know you can't tell me who it is, but can you at least tell me if it'll be some special guests rolling through?
Well, I'm going to have some guests.
Okay, cool.
You may even feel like, okay, Miss E, I want to join. I want to cook that burger. For God's sake.
Let me tell you something. I might just come to eat. I'm just going to keep it a
on,
buck.
Eat.
I might not want to cook anything. I may just want to come and eat the food.
Come eat.
And I'm serious.
Come eat. I may even fix the muffins. But the recipe, I cannot give away.
So the muffins are not in this book?
The muffin is not in the book. However, what's in that book is sweet potato biscuits and regular biscuits. The muffin is an old recipe from my mom, so I just can't give it to the world. Yeah, give it to the world. Can't do it.
Muffins are what I was talking about earlier, you all, because when I was producing that Sister Circle, Miss E would bring them.
Yes, I did.
In these beautiful boxes to the studio, and we would eat them. It's like a muffin biscuit combination. Incredible.
Absolutely.
So not in the book. Okay, well.
It's not in the book. But everything else good is in the book. So come on, join me on the 20th of October. Come on.
I love it.
And just experience some things. You may have a question you would like to ask me that you have not asked me yet.
Yeah.
You know, I will answer you. You know, if it's too personal, you know, I might hit it and miss it.
Okay, fair enough.
Isn't that fair enough?
That makes sense to me. It's an acknowledgement, but not an elaboration.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Always reserve something for yourself. You don't need to tell people everything. Shut up. Always reserve something for yourself.
How did you do that in the reality TV world, though, Miss E? Because they were clawing for all your tea, all the family tea.
Well, I'm just that way. I always reserve something for myself.
So anytime you share, everybody should know it's something else behind it that they will never know.
It's something behind that. It's definitely something behind that. But you got to become a part of me. You got to become a member of the Eventbrite. So let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. You got this.
And you got this honorary degree that we need to talk about.
Ain't God good?
That's incredible, Missy. How did you feel getting that phone call or the email? I don't know how it happened, but what was that like when you found out?
I got an email. I got a phone call. I'm like, what? Look at God. Say, we want to make you an honorary doctorate for all of the work that you've done and the people that you've touched. And I'm like, oh my God, you never know, baby, who's watching your life. You just never know. All I could do was cry. You know that song said, all I could do was cry?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of songs in my head.
Because you're a singer, you're a musician.
Yeah, I taught my kids how to sing, for God's sake. I don't do it much myself.
Music is in you, so that makes sense.
It's in me. And so it was incredible. So, of course, I told my kids about it. They were excited. I had to get a robe with the bars on it. I'm like, oh.
I love it. So, Miss E, you just mentioned that you never know who's watching.
You never know.
So, for those who are watching you and the life that you beautifully maneuvered through, the good, the bad, the ugly, the sweet, the sour, all those things, what impression do you hope that you've left and you're continuing to leave with them?
Well, one thing that I feel that there's no one greater than you except God. That's what my mom taught me. Here I go again. When I was a young girl, there's no one. I don't care who you are. You may think that, oh, they're better than I am. They can do this. I can't do that. You can do it too. Follow your dream. Never let your dream go, because the reason why you feel that way is because of fear. See, fear will hinder you from a lot of things.
Yeah.
Fear will make you think that someone is greater than you except God. Disappointment will make you think that. Okay, so if you fall the first time, get up. Get up. Brush yourself off and go forth and slack not your range, not unless God bid you. It's in you. It's born in you. Don't you know you're born with a gift? We all are born with a gift. Sometimes it just have to be manifest. Yeah. Sometimes we're so busy trying to be like someone else that we miss our blessings and what we were called to do. But you got this. You got this. No one's greater than you except God. Do it.
Miss E is literally a ministerial soundbite machine. And I'm totally here for it. I'm so grateful that we got this time. I'm so excited for you and all the amazing things you're doing. I'll keep you updated on my dating life in the online dating world that I'm trying to maneuver through. And if I find me a nice man over here, I'm gonna send him your way, Missy. I'm gonna make sure he's of age.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, because we got to stop this.
We got to stop this. But what God has for me is for me. And if he comes, first thing he's going to hear, look at God. If that chases him away, then bye. See you later. Because that's what you're going to hear, babe. I promise you. That's all I know.
He gonna hear the same thing if he come to me talking about, I talk about the Lord and he act like he don't know what I'm talking about. Bye to him too.
I don't know anything else, guys. This has been my life and I won't apologize because this is who I am.
Well, I love who you are.
Well, thank you so much.
I'm so thankful. And I'll be checking out your virtual special.
Thank you for having me and thank you for coming.
Of course.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Just a Thought with Sharí Nycole is produced, hosted, and edited by none other than yours truly, me, Sharí Nycole. To watch, listen, like, and or subscribe to this episode or previous episodes, you can go to YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Have an amazing week. Talk to you soon. Peace.
It's just a thought. It's just a thought. Just my opinion. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. Get out your feelings. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. It's my opinion.